Hello and welcome to the recap of all things track of the day for June of 2026. Whether it be the authors of said tracks, the styles of them, cup of the day winners, world record holders, or many of the other various stats, I will have them all here for you today. Per usual, the first chapter we will look at here today is the authors themselves, because without them, we would not have the tracks in the first place. So for the month of June, there were just 32 different authors, which is the fewest in a month this year. And of those 32 authors, 2 of them would have multiple tracks featured throughout the month, with those being Dr. Be Better as well as Mercury. June would also see a low in first-time authors with a total of just 3, with those first-time authors including Jerky Man, Frontiers, and Flaming Fire. So congratulations to all who had a track chosen this month, but what styles of tracks were they actually making? June would yet again see another low in the amount of unique styles showcased in a month this year, with a total of just 13. Being featured the most throughout the month, we see mixed tracks returning to the top for the 5th time this year, but right alongside of it we have tech, with each style being chosen 6 times. Behind each of these styles, we see dirt and lull tracks, which were each picked 3 times, followed by full speed, RPG, and snow car, each being chosen twice. This will leave us with 6 tracks of other various styles, including 1 unique style not seen yet this year, which is just a simple plastic and tech track. Now, no matter the style, what would be the preferred length of these tracks? Going strictly by author times, there was a difference of over 27 seconds between the longest and shortest tracks of the month, with the longest coming on June 6th with the mixed track MLE Calaboose having an AT of 1 minute and 1.105 seconds. As for the shortest author time in June, that would come on the very first day with the lull track Somewhere Beyond the Moon and its AT of 33.53 seconds. Now for June as a whole, the average author time was 44.983 seconds, which is nearly 9/10 shorter than May's average time, and it will also lower the average for the year from 45.385 seconds down to 45.318 seconds. Nonetheless, short or long, how difficult was it to achieve these author medals? June would end up being one of the toughest months so far for author medal difficulty, with just under 5% of players achieving the medal on any given track, but of course there will still be a few outliers. Starting with the toughest author medal this month, that would come on the 29th with the tech track Opal, which at its day's end only 2 players had achieved its AT, equating to 0.03% of its players. Behind Opal, we have a tie for the next most challenging with June 10th's tech track Forever Again, as well as June 30th's dirt track Ahuacatl, each only having 0.11% of players achieving their author medals. Now, moving over to the easier side of things, the most forgiving author medal this month was on June 7th's lull track That's Bumping Awesome, which at its day's end, almost 2,000 players achieved its AT, equating to nearly 25% of its players. The next easiest behind this was the tech track Frozone Moon Tears from June 3rd, in which close to 10% of its players achieved the AT, followed by the snow car track from June 9th, Yukame, which had just over 9% of its players achieving its author medal. Now, with all that said, the authors, the styles, the ATs, how well were these tracks actually received by the community? Overall, the month of June would have a positive outcome, as 17 of the 30 tracks would have a positive score, and for this month's top score, we will have a tie between Satel's mixed track 39 Intro, as well as Arian's and Hendo's tech track Forever Again, each having a score of 1.4. That score of 1.4 equals a very high plus rating and is 0.1 score from a plus rating, and these scores will also tie them for the best scoring tracks of the year with 2 other tracks. For the other 16 positive scoring tracks, 10 of them would also receive a plus rating, and 6 of them resulted in neutrals. Then we have 1 other track that had a score of 0, so that means there were 12 tracks that had negative scores. For those negative scores, the lowest would come on Mercury's ice track Lock in the Slide, which received a score of -1.5, just eclipsing the threshold for a minus rating. As for the other 11 negative scores, 9 of them would have a minus rating, and 2 of them received neutrals. Finally, the average track score for June did just barely end up in the positives with a score of 0.07, so it's going to be yet another month ending with a neutral rating. Now, no matter these ratings, how many players were actually playing? Starting with track of the days, June would see about 7,530 players per track on average, with the most number of players driving on Wednesdays, which averaged 8,008, and the lowest player count by far were Saturdays, which averaged 6,839. As for the individual days, the most played track in June was on the 5th with Mr. Pepsi's track Peak Netherlands, and it having 8,748 players. And the lowest player count on a track came on the 20th with Laurid's and Mythical's track Whitespace, having a total of 5,932. Now, with the average player count of 7,530 in mind, we will see that roughly 24% of those who play the track of the day are also those who participate in the Cup of the Days, with the average there being 1,820 per cup. For those Cup of the Days, the most popular day of the week were Mondays, which had an average of 1,916 qualified players per cup, and the least popular day were Saturdays, which averaged 1,589. With that said, the actual participation for these days shows a bit of a different story, with Fridays leading the way with roughly 78% of its qualified players actually joining their respective cup, and the least popular continued to be Sundays, which had a participation rate of nearly 73%. As for individual days, the most popular one by qualified player counts came on the 7th with Friendly Snowball's track That's Bumping Awesome, which had 2,214 players. However, its participation rate of 79.22% would rank 5th best for the month, and the aforementioned track Peak Netherlands would lead the way with a participation rate of 81.28%. For the lowest player counts by qualified players, that was on the previously mentioned track Whitespace, which had a total of 1,308 players, but its participation rate of 80.05% was the second best for the month, and the track from June 21st, Jungle Lazy River by Flaming Fire, had the worst participation rate of 64.39%. But no matter how many players were playing in these cups, who was actually winning them? The total of unique Cup of the Day winners in June will set a new high for the year with a total of 23, and sitting beside each other at the top this month was Mime and Scrappy, who each won 3 Cup of the Days. June would also have 4 other players who would each win 2 cups apiece, including Flyer, Grenade, Lingo, and Nabla. Now for win streaks, they were not all that prevalent throughout the month, but one streak did return for the first time since March, and that was a 2-win streak by Grenade. Finally, for first-time winners, June would tie 3 other months for the most, with 4 first-time winners, of which were A1 and R, Dam, Fred Wolf, and Laciop. So congratulations to all the first-time winners and fast learners this month, but who would come away as the top time attack hunters? The month of June would see a total of 25 unique world record holders, which will tie it with February for the yearly high. The player holding the most world records this month and for the first time this year was Flyer, who had a total of 3. Behind Flyer, we had a few players with 2 world records apiece, including Deco, Copro, and Maui. And finally, just like many other months this year, June did not have any world record streaks. And with that, we will conclude the Track of the Day recap for June of 2026. As always, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to give it a like and subscribe, and I hope to see you all here next time with July's recap.